UI UX designers, if your AI prompts are giving you bland, unusable results, you're likely missing out on the prompt secrets that get designers higher quality results. So stick around to grab my exact prompt formula and a very important warning about prompting at the end. Hello, MJ here, and if you're a designer that wants to use AI tools responsibly and ethically, you're in the right place. And whether you're using ChatGPT, Gemini, Figma Make, or any other AI tool, the prompt formula I will give you today will get you higher quality results. I've seen many people doing prompts like this. Create a mobile app for food delivery, but putting one-sentence prompts does not work for UI UX design. And I'm sure you know that by now. Because when you tell AI, create for me a mobile app for food delivery, and you hit enter, the AI makes assumption after assumption after assumption, and a million assumptions later, it spits out something for you. But because you didn't give it context, all those millions assumptions will be wrong, and you'll end up having very beautiful garbage. So to get higher quality results, our objective should be to reduce the quantity of false assumptions the AI makes. And we do that with context, rules, and examples. But the context has more than just general context, especially for us UI UX designers. And I think this should start being common sense for us, because even without AI, when we designers design something, we cannot design something good without enough data, right? Because we would be working on false assumptions. And just hearing what the client wants, it's not enough to create great designs. I made that mistake once when one of my first projects ever, like 7 years ago, and that was my worst regret I ever had in my entire career. And it still haunts me until this day. And all because false assumptions. But I'm sure you're here for the prompt formula, so let me show you that first, and feel free to stick around if you want to hear my story after. So let's take the create a mobile app for food delivery prompt and make it an effective prompt with this formula. And if you're thinking, MJ, I'm not trying to create screens with ChatGPT, bear with me because this prompt formula is the base for all the prompts, and you can tweak them for your specific cases. Okay, our prompt structure will start with the task and include the role the AI needs to take. So the task is, as an expert UI UX designer, create a mobile app for food delivery. And we're not stopping there. We'll continue to add context to reduce AI false assumptions, right? So think about the information you need to take decisions as a designer. We know that just hearing what the client wants is not enough to make a good design. You also need information about the users, their user flow, their pain points, their process, also information about the project, what's the type of product you're building. You need information about the business, the brands, and a lot more. But when you have all this information, the amount of false assumptions you make are drastically reduced, right? And that will be the same for the AI. So the information we're including is wrapped around the acronym OPRI. O stands for Overview of the Project. This will be information about the business or the project, but the information that could impact the design decisions, right? So let's add the food delivery business is called Fresh Bites, and their main goal is to provide fast, reliable, and high-quality meals from local restaurants straight to customer's door. Okay, next is P. The P stands for persona. So let's say the app's target audience are busy urban professionals and families who value convenience, variety, and fresh food options. Okay? And then the R stands for research findings. If you already have them, of course. So let's say my research shows that users are more likely to order through the app if they can easily filter restaurants by cuisine type, delivery time, and dietary preferences.
and see high-quality photos of dishes. Many users also express that showing estimated delivery times upfront and providing real-time tracking increases their trust and likelihood of completing an order. And the last letter of Oprah is I for images. So this could be screenshots or visuals that could add to the context, like graphical surveys, for example, or any visual support for the research findings. In this case, let's try doing, we are trying to solve the top 3 pain points from the attached image. And of course, you attach the image and it has to have pain points in it. Okay, we finished with the context, but we are not done because the next thing is rules. And these are the guidelines to follow, the constraints, the formats, character limits maybe, and branding guidelines as well, like colors, sizes, voice, and tone, or maybe styles if you have them. You can also add specific sections you want to include, and this is the example. So the first screen of the app should feature the top 5 most popular restaurants and a quick preview of popular dishes currently available for delivery. All the pictures should be from deliciously looking food. All screens should be easy to use. Use a clean, modern, and light style that includes some shade of green. Use a warm, friendly, and casual voice and tone. And then we are going to include examples. And remember, for examples, you can add good examples or bad examples, as in things to avoid. But don't add too many because too many could skew your results. Of course, if you're using bad examples, just tell the AI that those are bad examples. Okay, so we can say here, use the 2 app screen images as examples for the general style and colors of the screens.
Important warning here. Because you may be thinking, what if I just attach all the documents I have about the business or about my research data, right? You may have a lot of documents. And I'm going to tell you that is a very good idea, but unfortunately, the AI can only process a certain amount of words. So you must keep it around 6,000 words or less, especially if you're in a free ChatGPT account. And that has to do with tokens. And if you have a paid account, you have more tokens. But that is a whole topic for another day. And by the way, I'm a huge note taker in class. I was the one lending my notes to everyone. So I have notes for you too. This is a PDF with the prompt structure I'm sharing with you today. It's completely free. It is my gift to you. Okay, we have the formula in and we can run our prompts now. But this is not a one and done. After you get the results, you need to evaluate them, iterate on them, and keep refining your results until you have something workable. And again, just by typing what the client tells you he wants is not enough to make a great design because it could be based on false assumptions. I tried working with false assumptions 7 years ago, and it was the worst regret I ever had in my entire career. The client came up to me and said, MJ, I just want to beautify this. And then he showed me very horrible looking Microsoft Access forms he made himself. He was not a designer. And he told me, I already showed this to the users. They all test it out. They all love it. They all want to use it right now. So just beautify this. I was young and unexperienced, and I thought the client is always right. So I took the forms and I just make them pretty. That was the worst thing I ever did in my entire career. I made assumption after assumption after assumption without any context, and they all were wrong. After we implemented the product, we got complaint after complaint after complaint from users saying, what is this option for? These steps don't make sense. This is not useful at all. And you may be thinking, MJ, you didn't use heuristics? You didn't even use usability principles, Gestalt principles and stuff? Well, in my defense, I was inexperienced, but also this project was highly technical, like engineering heavy. I didn't even understood like 90% of the words they were using. And my dev team told me, oh, the users are engineers. They understand everything. They know what they're doing. And yeah, they didn't. Anyway, those are the consequences of designing with false assumptions. Now, going back to AI. If we provide quality information to the AI, we reduce the amount of false assumptions it makes. And you reduce false assumptions when you provide context, including the OPRI, rules, and examples. So you don't end up having very beautiful AI garbage. See you next time.